Hi, I'm Allison Snyder, and I'm going to be showing you how to feed sourdough starter. So I usually keep 2 jars just in case something happens to one of them. Like I leave it too close to the oven, or the temperature gets too high, or something falls in it or whatever. So normally I do this in the garbage can, but for purposes of this video, I just put it in this plate here for you. What I do is I mix the starter up. Aerating it also helps to keep it strong. And then I remove half of the starter. And there's no formal way to do this. And then you can either make a loaf of bread with this starter or just throw it in the garbage. Doesn't have to be perfect, just be approximately half of it. Same with the other one.
And it has to be, and you have to be feeding it for 4 days.
That's different. Okay, so I'm also going to just discard half this. And you don't have to, if you're going to be doing it every day, like I do, I keep it on my counter. You do not have to put it in a new jar. Just once a week, so it gets crusty around the top. You just do it whenever you want to. It won't affect the starter. So then I do regular flour or bread flour, doesn't matter. Half a cup, this is what I do. You don't have to do half a cup, this is just the way that I learned how to do it, so I've kept doing it because it's worked. Half a cup of flour in each one. And then normally, what the standard rule is, you're supposed to do a 1-to-1, which means however much flour you put in there, you also put that much water in there. But the one I learned on puts only 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to put only 1/4 cup of water. So I did get water. So I just use the same measuring cup, and I just do approximately 1/4 cup in there. It doesn't have to be exact. And once you get a feel for the consistency, it should be, you'll know like whether you need to add more, because it's supposed to be a 1-to-1, like it's supposed to be a weight thing, and water weighs more than flour. So if you put a half a cup or 1/4 of a cup approximately in there, and it's not easy to and creamy, then you can add some more water. So I might just add a little tiny bit more water. And like I said, you'll get a feel for this as you do it. So you want everything to be wet. You don't want it to be soupy or runny. You just want it to be like a paste, a thick paste. You stir it up, make sure all that the flour's absorbed, all the water's absorbed by the flour. So it's like this consistency of this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be roughly that. And sometimes you can you can have your starter be more wet, and sometimes you can have it be more stiff, drier. And what I've read is that if you want it to be more sour tasting, it should be stiffer. So you can play with that and just get an idea of what works for you, what you want, and what you can try making bread with it stiff, and you can try making bread with it wet, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. So do not worry about it. And do not be scared to feed to start a sourdough starter because you're afraid you might have technical difficulties, because once you start, you'll realize it doesn't have to be anything technical at all. And even if you are, I went through a period where I was technical and my bread turned out worse. If you have a good thing going, do not play with it. Don't try to be more air holes or, everybody has their own opinion, and probably if there's a good baker out there, they're not going to give you their secret anyways.
And make sure to experiment when possible, because the best bakers always say experimentation works.
I went through a period where I experimented and I got bad feedback.
But if you try for enough time,
My whole point is, don't think there's some attainable perfection in sourdough baking, because it doesn't exist. And it also depends on your kitchen temperature. It depends on everybody has a different bacteria and everything going in their kitchen. So I could have a different, even though I start out with my starter being the same as yours, depending on what's going on in your kitchen, it'll be different. Your spoon could add a certain bacteria or something to the starter that makes it different.
and make sure you wash your hands before doing it.
And I usually wear gloves, but I'm out of them, so they're on order. But the other thing is, And don't worry about like having a spotless spoon or, you know, don't be like, oh my gosh, this has to be so perfect.
Just make sure there's no cross-contamination.
And that's it. That's the consistency. Again, this one's a little bit stiffer than the other one, but I don't care because I can always adjust it tomorrow, and it's not going to make a difference. They also say that you can, and I've tried this. Actually, I have a whole wheat starter. Part of it's whole wheat. They say it makes it taste more sour, but I found it to be really disgusting. So I don't even use whole wheat flour at all. And I do sometimes use bread flour, but it does not make it hasn't made any significant difference at all. That's all I'm doing today. Watch me on my next video. I'm going to be making sourdough bread.